fifth graders. I just sat down to film your lessons for week 5 on reasons and evidence. I mentioned this a little bit before, but each teacher was in charge of planning 1 week, and I was working with a couple teachers on week 3 point of view. And this is what I was given for week 5. I'm supposed to be teaching exactly what they gave me, but I want you to know that I can't do that. I think if I taught you this, you would think I had lost my mind. So I just want you to know how much I do for you when you see this compared to what I'm going to be teaching you actually. And please appreciate all the time that I spend on you. So just please know that I love you. And I'm not doing this for me. Well, a little bit, because this is painful for me, but I'm doing this for you too. Okay? Please don't complain about the work that I give you, because I put so much work into it. You could be getting lessons like this every day. Happy Monday, 5th grade. I have to say I'm a little peeved right now because I have already recorded this lesson and it's a little bit of a longer lesson. And Loom decided it just wasn't ever going to upload. It's been uploading for 48 hours now. So we're doing it again. It's okay. We're going to keep going. Oh, and by the way, I'm really sorry if you can hear the lawnmower across the street right now. It's making a lot of noise, but we've got to get this done. So, yeah. So this week we are learning about reasons and evidence, finding an author's reasons for their argument and then evidence to support those reasons. The question that we are focusing on, the essential question for this unit, is how do authors use reasons and evidence to support particular points in a text? Today, we're focusing just on the reason portion of that. We'll leave evidence for tomorrow. Today, we're looking at how authors use reasons to support their points in a text. And we're starting off with a funny video of the day because that's what we're doing this week. I just need a little bit of comedy in my life right now, and so I have found a few videos that I hope you'll enjoy. This one is a video of someone in a different country, I'm not really sure where, taking the trash out during the pandemic and staying very, very safe as they do so. Everything looks 10 times more fun with a T-Rex costume, although I should tell you that T-Rex costumes are not actually effective ways of preventing COVID-19, but they definitely make taking the trash out look more fun. If you have a T-Rex costume, please send me videos of you doing things in it, because I am obsessed with them. And as you will have already seen, I did not create the lessons this week. I'm using lessons kind of that other teachers put together. I changed them as much as I could to make them more exciting for you, but you can only do that for so many hours before you have to do other things that you need to do for work. And I worked all weekend on this, making these more engaging for you, but this, I couldn't avoid it, I'm sorry. It's another teacher's video. It'll be fine. She teaches some good things in it. And unfortunately, I can't make my face go away, so I'm going to step out of the screen once I start playing the video. Just know that I'm still in the room. I'm just not on camera because it's awkward.
Tip of the day is I will explain how an author uses reasons and evidence to support specific points in a text. Okay, so you may have heard someone before try to defend whatever they believed in. I'm going to first start out by reading the left side of the screen here where you see the recycling trash can. It says, everyone should recycle.
I don't know where to make my face go, and I can't take it off the screen because I won't be able to get it back in the lesson. I'm sorry, that was really awkward. Just put it, I'm really sorry if it blocks something. We're just going to keep going.
It says everyone should recycle. It helps us to turn our old products into new products. It reduces the amount of trash in our landfills. As a result, it reduces air pollution. Okay, in that paragraph, this person believes that everyone should recycle, and they feel very strongly about it. The reason to support this are that it turns our old products into new products, reduces trash in the landfills, and reduces air pollution. So in the paragraph, the author didn't just say, you should recycle, and leave it at that. They gave reasons to support what their opinion or their belief was. Okay, let's look at this next paragraph. It says, kids need to exercise. Physical activity helps build and keep strong bones and muscles. It also can make you sleep better. It can also help improve your motor coordination. Okay, so what's the main belief of this author? Well, clearly, it's that kids need to exercise. See if you can identify some of the supporting evidence of that belief. All right, so if you pointed out that it keeps strong bones and muscles, helps you sleep better, and also improves your motor coordination, those would be the evidence pieces from the article or from the passage that support the belief that kids need exercise. Okay, so an author's position on a certain topic is called the point. It's the point they're trying to make. So games and equipment from home should not be allowed on school grounds. So what's the point that this author is trying to make? Okay, the point they're trying to make is you shouldn't bring things from home to school with you, like as far as your toys and your sports equipment as well as games. Okay, so let's remember, evidence means reasons that support a particular point. So way back on the other slide, let me go back and show this to you too. The first paragraph says everyone should recycle. That would be the author's point that they're trying to make. How did they defend that point? Well, they backed it up with evidence. So let's go back to this slide. And it says, games and equipment from home should not be allowed on school grounds. Oftentimes, students feel that they shouldn't have to share items they've brought from home, which can result in jealousy and fighting. In addition, many students haven't been taught safety rules with certain types of equipment, which can result in hurting others. Also, some items such as board games can take a lot of time to set up and clean up. This can make them impractical for recess time. Okay, so you can see here on this slide, all of the evidence is highlighted in purple. We have our main point starting off our paragraph, and that's games and equipment from home should not be allowed on school grounds. That's the point the author was trying to make. All of the things that are listed there in purple would be the evidence that supports that point. Notice how they have some linking words or to help you drive the point home, where it says oftentimes, in addition, also. That kind of lets you know, hey, here's another piece of evidence on why I think that equipment from home should not be allowed in schools. It's important to be able to judge whether an author's point is well supported or not. This way, you can make a more informed decision about what your own opinion is. Everything you read, you're probably not going to agree with every single word you read in your lifetime. So it's important to be able to decipher things, like as you're reading an author's text, for you to be able to think, did they support their point well? Did they give me enough evidence to convince me? And if so, do I agree with them? So the games and equipment from home paragraph we just read was a well-supported point. They gave 3 very detailed reasons on why you shouldn't bring them to school. However, if they would have just said games and equipment from home should be allowed in the schools because they're fun. Students enjoy playing their own games from home with their friends. Well, that doesn't give me a whole lot of reasons on why it should be allowed. It's kind of, it needs more information. So I want you to think about, why is it important to be able to judge whether an author's point of view is supported or not? How does that help you as a reader? Many things you see and hear in your environment present points to you. So people do, your parents do, your teachers do, your friends. You hear on TV. On TV, they're always trying to tell you in commercials why you should buy a certain product. Even in music, there's suggested points, and they want you to agree with whatever they're saying in their lyrics, and as well on the internet. If you don't carefully examine all of these reasons that support someone's beliefs or points, you might end up believing in a lie. That happens all the time. Maybe you've heard the phrase fake news being thrown out around there. What's happening is on social media, news articles are being published where they're catchy, they get someone's attention, people end up sharing them, and they end up being completely false. So it's important that you develop these skills so that way when you're reading an article or when you see something on TV, you can think, do they really have true evidence that's supporting whatever they're claiming, and do I want to agree with that? It's important that we don't end up believing in a lie. If we have a whole country of people believing in a lie, we've got trouble.
So let's talk about some vocabulary. One thing the authors use to convince their readers to believe them are reasons. And so reasons are explanations for why their point or idea is important, why it's true, why we should believe it. In 5th grade, you're expected to identify which reason supports which point and which evidence supports which reason, but we'll talk more about that tomorrow. So let's focus on which reasons support which points. And so let's look at this little graphic here that I made for you. Here we have our main idea, and this main idea has 3 reasons supporting it. Those reasons have facts supporting them. That's evidence. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But for right now, pay attention to these 3 reasons surrounding this main point. When you wrote your persuasive letters earlier this year, you focused on having 3 reasons to support your argument. This is the same thing, but now instead of writing, we're talking about reading it and interpreting what other people have done with that. And this is just another way to look at it. If this helps you more or less, use the one that helps you. So we have our key point, our main idea, and that breaks into 3 different reasons: reason 1, reason 2, and reason 3. For guided practice, we are going to read this text. What was America's deadliest war? And other questions about the Civil War. You might recognize this text. We haven't read it in class, but it's in our library, so you may have read through it actually when we were learning about the Civil War. But we're not reading the entire book. We're going to focus on just a few passages throughout the week. And today we're focusing on this passage. What was the cotton gin and why was it important? Even with the high demand for cotton, the southern growers had a serious problem. Every ball, the fluffy part of the cotton plant, was full of seeds, which had to be removed by hand before the cotton could be used. It took many hours to do the job, and a lot more slaves were needed for the work. It was difficult to make money growing cotton. Those who opposed slavery hoped that the plantation owners would stop growing cotton, and in turn, free the slaves. Then, in 1793, inventor Eli Whitney developed a machine called a cotton gin. The new device pulled all the cotton seeds from the balls with great speed and made the cotton growers richer than ever. This meant more cotton plantations and a desire for even more slaves. Sorry, I thought I just witnessed a kidnapping, but I think it was the guy's own daughter that he grabbed off of someone else's play structure and took. He's pushing a stroller, so I'm pretty sure it's his daughter. I don't think that's my neighbor. Okay. So, that was really, really weird. Yeah, everything's good. Okay, so, what was I talking about? Right, yes. Okay, so the key idea of this passage, well, one great place to look for the key idea is the heading. The heading usually tells you what that section's about, and hence the main idea of it. So our heading says, what was the cotton gin and why was it important? Now that's a question, and the key idea wouldn't be a question, it would be a statement, something that the author wants you to understand. So I rephrased it here to say, the cotton gin was an important invention. Changed it from, what was the cotton gin and why was it important, to the cotton gin was an important invention. It was important. And then they're going to explain why it was important. They're going to explain the reasons why it was important. And it's important to keep in mind that this book is about the Civil War. So when we say the cotton gin was important, we're specifically talking about how it was important in the Civil War, why it was a big part of the Civil War. What are the author's reasons? The author gives reasons to explain why it was important in the history of the Civil War. And we're going to look at the second page for this, right here. This meant more cotton plantations and a desire for even more slaves. The cotton gin. The cotton gin led to more plantations and more slavery. And that's important, if you remember, because one of the main causes of the Civil War was this disagreement over slavery. And the other big cause was, one of the other big causes, was that the North and the South were so different because the North knew all about manufacturing and the South knew all about agriculture because they had these farming plantations. And they didn't really see eye to eye. They didn't understand each other very well. And because of that, the South wanted more states' rights. They wanted to have more control over themselves instead of the whole government. So if the cotton gin led to more plantations and more slavery, well, those were two of the big things that led to the Civil War. So let's look at these options for the reasons, because we always find the evidence and then put it into our own words. Those who opposed slavery hoped that the plantation owners would stop growing cotton and free slaves. No. The cotton gin led to more cotton plantations and a desire for even more slaves. Yes, that matches what we said, but let's look at the other one just to be sure. Southern growers had a serious problem despite the high demand for cotton. The first and the last one, A and C, didn't actually talk about the cotton gin, so it's probably not the main idea. It might be some evidence to support the main idea and the reasons, but it's not the main idea. The main idea is that the cotton gin led to more cotton plantations and a desire for even more slaves. Why does this skill matter? If you can find the reasons that support an author's key idea, main idea, you will have a stronger understanding of what that point is, what their idea is, and that way you can make a better decision, a more informed decision of whether or not you want to believe them. If someone just tells you an idea, you can't believe it right away because people can tell you whatever they want. If you think back to our lessons on reliable sources towards the beginning of the year, we learned about the tree octopus. We learned about that shark, the megalodon shark. They weren't true. People put them out there, but they didn't have reasons and evidence that were reliable to back it up. So you need to check reasons. For independent practice today, you are going to complete a Google form. Something that's really cool is that for this Google form, you're actually going to be answering questions about one of your peers' persuasive letters. I was having a hard time finding a text that I wanted to use, and I realized I have a whole stash of them. So I pulled one of the letters that you wrote. And you're going to be reading that letter, and I've already identified the main idea for you. You are going to be focusing on finding the 3 reasons that the author uses to support that main idea. I also want to give a shout out to Henry Brodish, because last week, and it was too late for me to put it into the videos for last week, but last week he found a mistake that I made in, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday's video, and he very respectfully told me about the mistake, and then I was able to go in and fix it because I misspoke when I said what point of view something was from. So thank you, Henry. I appreciate that. He paid attention to the reasons and realized they didn't match with the point I was trying to make. It didn't make sense for the point of view to be, I think I said it was third person limited because it was actually first person. So good job, Henry. And my second shout out is to Louise Miles, because she came actually to visit me and surprise me for Teacher Appreciation Week last week. Well, for you it was last week, for me it was yesterday. And she and her mom and her sister came to my house, and we stayed socially distanced, and they drew on my driveway with chalk and gave me a balloon. It was so, so sweet, and a card. So thank you, Louise. And to all of you who've been sending me really sweet emails for Teacher Appreciation, thank you very much too. It really has made a huge difference in how I've been feeling this week. I've been kind of dragging, and it's really helped bring me up and lift my spirits. So thank you. I love you all. I miss you all. And hopefully I will see you in not too much longer. Bye.